Hi, it's me up here in the corner. I'm here to show you the Mid-Michigan Library League website. So, hi, hang on, strap in for the ride. To get to the website, you put in mmll.org in the URL. And then this is the homepage. We have one of the plowed websites. The Library of Michigan has coordinated a project funded through IMLS with Library Services and Technology Act funds and offered out to small and medium-sized libraries and co-ops this ability to have a website without too much muss or fuss. If I can do it, you can do it. And so we're very appreciative to be able to have a plowed website. And the one thing that's super cool about having a plowed website is the Library of Michigan can put information on the website that everybody could use, and they keep it up to date. So this first tier of categories are what I've created on the website, and the second tier is the Library of Michigan has put there. So COVID resources, very timely and kept up to date by the Library of Michigan. So these are great things to have from them and kept up to date. And under the virtual events, you will find classes and virtual events that you can put out to your public. So if you would like to link to this page, have at. Very nice to have in times of people not being in physical contact with each other. Okay, so to get back to the home page, always you can click in the middle of the logo and then you're at the home, and the first page has the welcome, and usually right there is the most current newsletter. The newsletters are created to be used online and because they're filled with links. Here's the link about today's event. And we usually have some information about member libraries, what's going on. This is a lovely article about Sue Carlson. And you can see that everything here is a link. So that's going to take you right to this article. So sweet. And I'm going to go back to the newsletter. Let's see. And information about our libraries, upcoming advisory council meetings, how to get on the Zoom. And then a bunch of online webinars and classes. And I won't click on any of these because some of them will be already passed probably. But you can see that this newsletter is filled with lots of information and links. So it looks pretty because it's colorful and everything, but if you print it out, it won't be very valuable. Grant opportunities, a bunch of everything here. Youth services. There's our emergency geek. I'll talk about him in a minute. But one thing I wanted to show you in the current newsletter, other than all these other things to talk about, is real quick, I'm going to go to this no reservation recommendations. I think the fact that I'm using Chrome has made this look a little wonky, but it's very, very wonderful. And I'm thinking that if enough people submit recommendations, it's that much more valuable. This was begun by Woodlands Library Cooperative and Brandon Township Public Library in 2018. It's called No Reservation Recommendations. And so they started with, you need to buy something or find a vendor for something. Who do you recommend? And kept all that data and put it into a database. So now there's programming recommendations, which I think is very cool as well. The reason why I'm showing you this is that this is going to be much better than what we're offering on our website. So let me go back to our web page for a moment. So I had just started from the welcome page and gone to our newsletter and found that link in the newsletter. But if you go way over to the right under resources, we have something called programming options. And this was created after I saved a whole bunch of a lot of them were MMLL messages from different libraries across the state that said, oh, we had this person, it was great, and we recommend it. But honestly, I didn't keep that much information. So it is what it is, shall we say, and probably a little bit dated. But there are authors and people that will offer programs in a variety of different subjects. So If you want to take a look at this, it is here. I probably will replace it with that no reservation recommendation website. Anyways, so let's go on a quick tour of what's underneath each of these categories. And again, all we have to do is click in that center there and we get back to the main page. So the first thing I want to show you is what's under About Us. Well, this page, boy, I'm awfully sorry that I tried to disable that sound and it's not disabled. So we have the director's message, which is this current page. We have a contact us form. The policies are there. Dive in there really quick to show you that the plan of service is here. What is a plan of service? Each library cooperative has one. It talks about how the co-op is formed, under what authority, how the funding goes, what the membership is, and what the services, core services are. In our plan of service, it even goes on and on to say about the advisory council, and also has the board bylaws. It actually has the board bylaws contained within. So back to core services, we have reviewed the plan of service of both the advisory council and the board, and at the board meeting later on today we will approve another category for services, which would be member library employee services. We have, thanks to TLN, which is the library network in Southeast Michigan, which is one of the 11 co-ops in the state, and we all work together and help each other and cooperate, which is wonderful. And they have gotten a service that is now extended statewide called Encompass EAP. EAP is Employee Assistance Program, and it's very reasonable price, and your board of the library cooperative has decided to make this a service of the cooperative as opposed to charging you back. So as of October 1, everyone will be able to participate. So that will be number 12. And so that's where the plan of service is and what it's all about. So that is under About Us, under Policies. And as soon as we approve the budget, we'll have budget there. Email list information. This will tell you the main communication lists that we have for the co-op and how to sign up for them. So the main one we have is midmishlive at googlegroups.com. There's also a MMLL directors. And we can have any groups you want, and they're just to communicate with a group of people back and forth. So it's not just about me sending out messages to everyone, it's for everyone to use. There is a discount page here that you may not know about. There are different organizations that create discounted engagements with vendors and whatnot. So the library network actually posts on their website, and this is from their website, all of these different discounted opportunities. So even from buying a Square credit card device to e-resources, etc. MCLS offers discounts. They are the ones that provide us rides, which the library co-op pays for every member. The REMC Association is sort of like co-ops for schools, and they have remcsave.org, and it's worth checking before you buy any piece of equipment, and also TechSoup. So don't forget that this is here for you. All right, what else is under About Us? Interlibrary loan. Quickly, our member libraries generally are all on Melcat. If they're automated, we have a couple that still are not. However, interlibrary loan works very well through Melcat, and the cooperative pays for rides, which is the statewide delivery system, and you have to participate in rides to be able to be in Melcat. Melcat doesn't really cost you anything other than rides and the staff and time it takes to put in the requests and understand how the system works. But it's been working really well for us for many years now. Peabody is a White Pine Library Cooperative extension to us. It's a service that they're offering to us with a small fee. They will go outside of MelCat. If you can't find something on MelCat and your patron still wants it, you can go through White Pine and Peabody and figure out if there's another library that would lend it to you from outside of Michigan. So make sure you know that's there as well. What else is on our website? Well, the newsletter, of course. If you happen to have missed a past newsletter, guess what? It's going to be on this page because there's so many of them. And there's the kerfuffle for COVID sort of disrupted a bunch of things, but every month I put out a newsletter. This past one was a 2-monther, but look for October newsletter coming out soon. Again, just to reiterate, the newsletter is best seen online and the links used online, so that there's the one from June, some cute pictures, and so these links, obviously, when you print it out, it's not going to happen. So there is some information about the CE stipend from the Library of Michigan. It goes right to their page. How nice is that? Okay. So that is newsletter. What else is under news and calendar? There's something hidden under here that I want to point out to you. Not very often do I have anything on the calendar or on job postings, but if you want me to post something, I will. It's not the go-to page for those things generally. But we have an association, the library cooperatives do. There's 11 in Michigan, and we, as I said before, we cooperate. So that's a good thing. There is a website for the co-ops right here. And it's interesting to look at the co-ops, the visual representation of the co-ops in the state, because you can see that they don't have to be contiguous. You can sort of see the way the flow of the cooperatives are. There's a list of what they are. We are the light blue. And anyway, just thought I'd show you that. Let's see, what else is on this page? I'm going to go back to our website, which is, where I got to this was at the bottom of the news and calendar. And just show you really quickly that the Library of Michigan has a board of trustees, and they like to know what's going on with the library cooperative. So we compile a report for them every time they meet. And so you might be interested to look at whether the other library cooperatives are doing. They're all different. We're all different because we serve different sizes of libraries and different populations. So the budget, of course, goes along with the per capita and the population. So our co-op is small. We have small budget. We have small staff. But it's nice to cooperate together with the other individuals here and make things happen for everybody. So that's nice. And you can catch up and see what's going on at other co-ops if you want to. All right, I'm going to go back up and look at services now. These are the services that I've mentioned here on the website, and generally, other than I didn't mention rides here because that is a service of the cooperative. We have that category of things, services of the cooperative, and then that you don't receive a bill for. It's just part of your membership. And then there are group discounts that we can do if there's something that you want to buy and it would be less money if a whole bunch of people bought it. We're all about doing that for you. So we have some group discounts, and then we have things that we aggregate together that we will pay one bill and then invoice you for, such as Up North Digital. So I'm going to click on that. Up North Digital, I think most of you are part of, which is great. If you're not, I would strongly encourage you to participate. There is an agreement right here, and this collection is two cooperative wide. It's Northland Library Cooperative and Mid-Michigan Library League. In the state of Michigan, there are several consortia for Overdrive, which is the vendor, and Overdrive works with the publishers and provides e-books and e-audio books and e-magazines that you can download on a device, a computer, cell phone, etc., iPad. So look at this. If you're not already participating, please ask me about it, because I find this is very important these days. The library is online, and if people can't come to the library in person because of things like, guess what, COVID, this was used so heavily during when everybody was staying at home. So there's a Libby app for your cell phone, and there's also, you can use it on a computer. We have a group of people selecting materials. We have a steering committee, and the co-op directors are ex officio members, but I can certainly get you involved and started. And we pay the bill and then send you out an invoice. So that's Up North Digital. Very important. So here's something that the cooperative provides for you. It's called Transparent Language Online. This is a language learning resource that you can put right on your website and link patrons to, and they can go right to the resource, and hopefully, I think I might already be logged in. Let's see what happens. There's a little delay. Oh no, there's a login screen. So luckily my information's in there, and I believe I left it in Nepali as a language, but if you want to see other languages that are in the system, here it is. So quite a few languages that people can start taking, and they have a nice system of learning, and they also have even a kids section. So don't forget that this is here. Also, they have mobile access. They have an app. There's an app for that. And so all you need to do is just put it on your website. And there are links to more information and flyers and all kinds of stuff. So this is a service of the Library Cooperative, so don't forget it's there. Okay, what else? Tech support, another service of the co-op. Under tech support, we get to learn about the Emergency Geek. There's his mug, Corey Walker. And he has agreed with us to reduce his rate to serve libraries, only $40 an hour. And on top of that, we will pay for the first 4 hours for every member library. So, and even beyond that, if you use up your 4 hours, it's quite possible and probable that you will be able to get another 4 and maybe even another 4, because not all of our member libraries use this service, and we pay for the mileage too. So this is great. We know that people are far apart, and so what you do is you call Corey and you set up an appointment, and sometimes he can kind of look at your computer remotely, and you go from there. But we pay the mileage and we pay the first 4 hours, and probably even more than that. So don't forget that you have tech support waiting for you. This Maker Movement site page here talks about the maker kits that we have, which will be updated in the coming year. They've aged a little bit, but they're very cool things here, and they're just sitting here behind me on the shelf. They have been circulating for several years, and there's nothing really wrong with them. It's just that maybe it's time for some new ones. So I'm going to put Maker in here. I have gone to the link. Let me just go back and show you. I went to the Librarica catalog for placing requests. So I put in the search term Maker and just came up with one of the 3 pages of resources here. We have sewing machines. We have 3D printers. They're a little old at this point, so they're not under warranty anymore. But lots of things here that you can check out and use for programming with your patrons. Okay, so what else do we have? Grants and funding, of course. Here are some links to some grants and funding opportunities. There's a whole chart of COVID relief resources. There is a link to the Library of Michigan for the Library Services and Technology Act funding. We are in the midst of waiting to find out if our 25 libraries that I applied on behalf of are receiving the Emergency Connectivity Fund, which will fund Wi-Fi hotspots and devices to circulate to the patrons. That's lovely. And then the co-op itself has a mini grant program. There's not a fiscal year 22 program out yet. We're hoping to get a new committee of people to work as the grant team, and we'll put together a program. It doesn't have to look the same, but you can see who has been funded in the past. This was the round 2 awards from the last year, and then there was round 1 in a different color here. So you can see what people have been funded to do. And it's possible the program will look similar. It was one-time costs and project costs. The one-time costs were up to $500. The project costs were up to $1,000. And we gave several grants away, so don't forget that's there. Usage statistics under services, that would be for the language learning resource. That's pretty much the only one that we need to provide you the statistics for. The Up North Digital you can get on your own, and the other things you should be able to find on your own for your library. I made a chart under the services for libraries that you can take a look at and see paid by, and some notes about Overdrive and the audiobooks that we used to have that are now in part of Up North Digital, the Transparent Language Online. Here's a group discount, Swank movie license, and Book Page is another group discount that we just added. So again, we aggregate demand and reduce the cost per library. Encompass Employee Assistance I talked about briefly because that's something we're going to add as a service of the co-op. And on Tuesday, this coming week on the 28th, as part of the advisory council, we will have the vendor, the provider for Encompass, showing us all around the system. It's going to start October 1st, and you can sign up any employee of any member library of the Mid-Michigan Library League. I think that was all I was going to say there. But let me jump over. Okay, so that was the last thing under services. I'm going to jump over to the Advisory Council right here under Board and Advisory Council, just so you can see that the next meeting indeed is the September 28th, and here's how to get online. And it's at 10 a.m. on September 28th that we will be able to learn more about Encompass EAP. I'll jump back here in a minute, but what if you have to miss that webinar? Well, I'm glad you asked. So under webinars, under workshops and webinars, down to webinars, there are no current ones listed here and scheduled. I probably should put that in as a currently scheduled one, but it's so quick, I probably won't. But once we capture it, it will be here under archived webinars. You can actually go in and see this Transparent Language Online webinar. That's the resource that you have. You have the Ruby Slippers, so please put it on your website and offer it out to the public. There's an Apollo, there's some HR training. So don't forget that this archive is here of webinars, of training topics and whatnot. There are also there's a link to the archived webinars from the Library of Michigan here halfway down this page. So, and actually I'll just go ahead and click there and you can see Library of Michigan Webinar Archive. So how lovely to be able to just hop right over there. So again, and this goes on longer and longer because there's a whole bunch of them that probably should be taken off because there is a point at which they're a little old. We don't have any current offerings for workshops because of COVID, and we haven't been gathering, but here on this workshops page is a link to the Library of Michigan Continuing Education page, the Michigan Library Association Education and Events page, and the MCLS, which is Midwest Collaborative for Library Services, Training and Events page. These organizations are very important to all of us. They serve all of us, and we're glad they're there. So they provide many, many resources for you all as well. So under the Board and Advisory Council page, we hopped on the Advisory Council really quick. I'm going to go back there just for a second. So you remember that that's where you find out about the meetings and getting on Zoom. And then also under there are some more things. There was a survey done in June of 2021 that is compiled and You may want to go take a look and see in our cooperative how many libraries have Wi-Fi in the library, how many offer have an online catalog, those kinds of things. So this is compiled data for all of our 36 member libraries. Interesting, posted, results of our member survey. Now this says new strategic planning resources, and this is an example of our Google Drive area. We have, here's a folder of Benzie Shores District Library resources. Now these are just files. They're not necessarily complete, polished things. They're resources that you could maybe glean some ideas from. Like this one is one-page strategic plan documents that I find fascinating. There was a woman that did a program at the Michigan Library Association conference, and she pointed to these, and I asked her, could I use them? And she just said, sure, here, take these. So I put them in our Google Drive. There's a lot of food for thought on this page. So know that that's under the Advisory Council page, as well as lots of meeting notes. And there's a link to annual meeting materials here, which actually ends up being the same link as this under resources. It says annual meeting materials. And once this meeting is done, if there are any electronic files that we can share, such as the slides from the presenters or this video possibly, we will put them on this page. So you can look and see that from the past annual meetings, there are resources that you can tap into from here. What else? The board. You have a 9-member board of trustees. Each trustee represents one of the groups. And this is where the meeting is announced, the board packet is placed, the compilation of board report, the director's reports, board agendas and minutes, and the list of the current members and the group member that they serve. Under the membership link, this page lays out how the groups work. So group 1 libraries are these, group 2, group 3. The one thing that's not represented here is who your current board representative is. And if you don't know, find out who's your board representative, because if you want something happening in your library cooperative, there's a couple ways to go about that. If you're a director or you have access to your director, you just tell them what you're thinking and what you would like the co-op to do or be involved in, and that can be discussed during the advisory council meetings. The other way is to find out who your board member is for your group and tell the board member, and that could be brought up at the board meetings. Generally, the advisory council will be the group that talks about what the services of the co-op should be, and they would recommend to the board, and the board would make it so, making sure that we have the budget and the director can do it and all these things. So we want to make sure that the co-op is meeting your needs. So don't forget that there are ways for you to get input. This link down here, contact information for the 36 libraries, is a 2-page, it's a PDF right now, but if you ever want data, just ask me. There's a way to get comparative data for our libraries and also to compare, say, all Class 2 libraries in terms of budget and director salary and different things like that. Joe Hamlin at the Library of Michigan will help with those things, and it's not that hard to get. We're all inputting that data when we apply for state aid. The second page of this list, other than general address and contact information, has the square miles, what class size the library is, population served, that kind of stuff, the website address, the ILS, just so you know that's there. Okay, I'm going to pause and give you a break.